to the Lituation Room. What's good, everyone? It's your girl, Alicia B, and you are now in the place to be. Welcome to the Lituation Room. Y'all already know it's season 3 in the building. Hey. In today's episode, I have an amazing guest. His name is CDK on the mic, period. Yeah. I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the people that are dumb and don't know you already.
What's up, y'all? I'm CDK on the mic, the #1 HBCU host, ranked at that. I am a student at North Carolina A&T right now, JLMC. Shout out to all my Crosby kids. Shout out to all the journalism students out there. And I work for Warner Music as a college music rep, so I know everything that's going on with marketing the music, and that's what I do in my regular daily basis. I do celebrity hosting. So much going on. That's all I do. That's all I do. I'm just a regular person.
All you know is when you see his name, you know that he's working. He's not just sitting on his ass. He is working. Okay. So we're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff during this episode, but obviously we want to talk about you first before we get into the nitty gritty of everything. So gotcha. You gave the full basics. You know, you're still a student, which is crazy to me. Congrats for doing everything while still being a student, because Crosby Hall does not play. Okay?
It's a different type of life out there, and I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. It's been very, very hard. I'm not gonna sit here and act like everything's been peaches and cream, because it has not been at all.
So with everything, I guess we should start off on the first thing that you do, which is hosting. So how did you get into that, and like, how's the hosting world? Because that's completely different for me.
Hosting. So how I started off the hosting. My senior year, going into college, being a freshman in college, I was going to parties with my friends, joking around. And one day I got on the mic and I was just joking around, laughing with my friends, creating jokes. And somebody that was the owner of the event at the time asked me, did I host? And I said, yeah, didn't know what hosting was, lying. So I'm like, yeah. She's like, all right, bet. Like, in 2 weeks, we got another event. I'm pushing on the flyer. Just make sure you pull up at this time and you're good to go. And I'm like, okay. So What I do is, my next move is, I'm working at McDonald's at the time. Let me tell you, I'm working at McDonald's. I'm slaving. You know, McDonald's checks only $300 at the most. You know what I'm saying? So I'm slaving 40 hours a week to make $300. So I'm like, okay, I'm a host now. I got to come up with a name. So I'm like, I've been calling myself CDK because that's my initials, of course. So I was like, I didn't have one on the mic yet. It was just CDK. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I went to the store and I bought a mic. I literally just bought a mic. And I pulled up and I act like I knew what I was doing. During sound check, it was another host and DJ that was there. I just like, you know what I'm saying, kind of copy what they did. I was like, you know what I'm saying, turn up, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'm just there. My first party, I'm up there acting like I'm Travis Scott. I'm up there yelling, screaming. I'm talking about I'm at a concert. And they're like, yo, you lit, but like, stop yelling. I'm like, okay, cool. So from that day on, I didn't tell him until like a year later, I did not host. Like, he was the first person that ever booked me. And it just kept rolling from there. And then it became a side hustle, and from a side hustle became a career. So that's how I got into hosting. Really lying. So yeah,
you know, it's not lying. You said yes, and then you went and learned it, because I'll be doing the same thing. People will ask me, like, when I did radio, you know how to cut a commercial? Absolutely.
Hashtag
went home on YouTube and said, how do you cut a commercial? Ooh, production. Okay, how do we do that? Like, I was like, it's just how the world works. You don't say that you don't know stuff, then you go look for it.
If they find out themselves, you know what I'm saying? So hashtag lie on your resume.
Don't say that. Don't say that on the record that CDK told you you're going to lie on your resume, y'all. That is not. Don't be coming for me or him. Use your discretion to what you need. Okay, cool, great. Moving right along. Besides hosting, obviously you are an on-air personality. So I know the story, but obviously everybody else doesn't know how you got on air and like what you did to get your name to be prevalent on a radio station.
So what happened was, I got on air my second year hosting. Like, yeah, going on my second year going on third year. That's after I did All-Star Weekend with Floyd Money Mayweather. That's after I was hosting with Migos. I was just running college. I was really going crazy at A&T doing events. I maybe did like 2 or 3 campus events. But after that, I needed an internship. And I was working for Fresh Empire at the time as well. And I was just an event coordinator for Fresh Empire. And my advisor used to work part-time at the radio station that I got hired at. And the dude that was hosting at Fresh Empire was also an on-air personality at Jams. And my 2 advisors for the coordination of the event, that's like 4 or 5 different people. They all worked at Jams at the time. I didn't know that. So I'm just out there. They know me from A&T though, because they're like, yeah, I see your parties. I see you doing campus events. I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I need an internship though. And then I'm like, they're like, well, you know what I'm saying? Come rock with Jams. I'm like, man, I ain't even trying to do that. And they're like, nah, bro, like, you really got to do it. Like, I'm like, okay. So I pull up to the interview, which is like maybe a week later, as we had this conversation. And I've been with these people for like maybe six months before that. And I pull up, I sign the papers, and I start as an intern in the promotions. So I started doing promotions. I was there sometimes at 5 o'clock in the morning doing this thing we call morning rush, where you make coffee and, you know what I'm saying, give out them donuts early in the morning.
Early as hell.
It'd be early. I'm talking about cold, too. So I did morning rush. I was doing promotions. Then there was sometimes I was there till 2 o'clock in the morning doing, you know what I'm saying, production and learning the board and being in the studio with on-air personalities. Just there. So I did that for about 4 months, and then I got hired as an on-air personality. October 6th, 2019. I remember the exact day. It was time. I went on 2 o'clock in the morning to 6 a.m. You know what I'm saying? So I was working the graveyard shift, but I did not care. I didn't care who was listening. I was in there messing up. So,
that's the best time though, because you can mess up and no one really cares.
Yeah, people halfway sleep on the road. I'm in there just messing up. I'm just in there doing it. So my first couple months, maybe my first couple days, I was just kind of messing up. I was on somebody else's shift at the first time they was training me. I only got maybe 3 days of training. I'm gonna be honest, like maybe 3 days. And after that, I got my own shift, and I'm assuming they liked what I had going on. So I was just up there talking like regular, and I was learning my way. And yeah, I worked there for my year just came up, so yeah, boom. But radio, that's how radio kind of went. I did promotions. Then I went into on air, but there's also sales and production. So that's the 4 sectors of radio for those that do not know.
Right. So speaking of that, we gonna hop into that situation real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of artists are, sending their music to all these people and not really understanding why either they're being told, yeah, we can't put that on air, or you're not hitting up the right person. So let's first talk about what is considered radio ready. When we are asking artists to send in music that can be played for, I know my job up here, I work for them as a producer, but they have a versus battle where every week they have new people battling head to head, but your music needs to be radio ready. Let's talk about what is considered radio ready.
Radio ready. Right now, TikTok is the key. A lot of music is pulled from TikTok, but I'm gonna tell you how it gets to that point. Radio ready is catchy. Radio ready for one. I thought this was common sense, but apparently artists don't know this. Clean. Wait,
clean. Hold on. Let's say it again.
Clean. I mean, of course, there are some words that are being played on the radio, but it cannot be over a certain amount. And it's a whole lot of, but just clean. I'm just leave it at that.
Just simple. Take all the curse words out, fam. Yeah, it's just simple.
But make it professional. I'm not talking about going to your system in the DJ board in Toronto with some of y'all be doing this and bleeping the words out. I'm talking about actually going to the studio and recording a clean version. Yeah. That's radio ready. That's part of being radio ready. Also, your music has to be in demand. You can't just be some smojo. I don't care how much talent you have. If nobody's demanding for your music to be played, nobody's asking about your music, it's not going to get played. It's all about streams. It's all about views on YouTube. It's all about how many people Shazam your song. That is the number one thing. People need to Shazam your song. Have to. Meaning, when you're in the club, this is a part of being radio ready. Build a relationship with the DJ. When DJs people are listening, key. Yes. When you're in the club and at these events, campus events, whatever you are at, get the DJ to play your stuff, and you have to have people asking and literally going on their phone on Snapchat or whatever, Shazam, and typing in, okay, what is the song? Because that's all calculated. They can find things out. Like when I know through your distributing company, you can see those numbers. Apple Music shows you those numbers. So as an artist, that's things that you should study for one, that you should know what your numbers are. So in your area and your demographic, you have to figure out what's your crowd. Where's your crowd at? Who gives you the most listens? Apple Music breaks that down for you. So you should know that. You should know your audience is, where your main key point is. You should know all of that. Your social media, everything has to do that. But that gets into TikTok, which is going viral and your music being trendy. Beat King right now is killing radio because all his songs is on TikTok, and it's only 15 seconds. It's catchy. It's not even that the fact that, you know what I'm saying, like, it's artists that are mainstream now that aren't really radio ready, but they, like J. Cole, he's not really a radio artist, but the baby is killing it because his music is catchy and it's trendy. So that's what being radio ready is in a few words.
The perfect description of what it is, because I'm thinking of people like 24K Golden, who you probably have never heard of him in his life before Mood went crazy on TikTok, and now it's on radio. Because I know we play it.
And I'm talking about I'm trying to think, Beat King, all the TikTok songs out west. What's another TikTok
yeah.
song? All of that stuff. Because
out west was not popping before TikTok had it.
In the morning times when kids are going to school and your parents are taking when your parents take you to work and when your parents are going to work and you're taking your kids to school, all the kids listen to is TikTok. And one thing about children and having your music clean, which is family friendly, kids listen to that stuff over and over and over again, over and over and over, and that makes your streams go up, that makes your views go up. And when it's a dance to it, a small little dance, it can be something simple, man. It can just be something like you clap your hands 3 times, put your hand on your head, something simple. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If it's catchy and kids like it, that's going to be your demographic that you really can attack right there. Your social media, get it up, because right now, with everybody being in quarantine, you can go viral on Twitter tomorrow. If your song is like that, you can be up tomorrow, and today, you know what I'm saying, like, just be sitting there. And there's also people that have a lot of talent that just can't get into that trendy, and it takes them a lot longer. But that's what I call microwave music, which is another conversation for a whole another day.
Oh, no. But no, okay, yes, y'all, please make y'all songs radio ready. That is what we mean when we say that. I'm tired of people hitting me up in my DMs being like, can you put my song on air? First of all, so y'all, I'm not on air. So how am I supposed to do that?
Oh, yeah, talking about people who we need to talk to. So,
because it's not me.
Let's break down who you need to talk to when it comes to radio. Because, like I said before, I'm gonna tell y'all the 4 sectors. There's sales, there's promotion, there's production, and then there's on air. In each of those sectors, there's also a chain of command. So there's like it just breaks down into those 4 things. That's the basic 4 things you need to go. But the main part that you need to worry about is on air, which is your DJ, which is like your mix squad and your on air personalities, and then you have promotion, production.
I would say sales.
Sales as well, because they calculate how many times we put it in rotation. That's what we have. We have like this thing called a music booklet, or some people call it a radio Bible, which tells you what song plays at what time and how many times it plays that hour, things like that. And we calculate all that because that goes out to the record deals and things like that, having your label handle all that. You have to have your business side together, but that's something that y'all need to worry about first. You need to have your business analytics together and know all your stuff so you can come talk to these people and get these deals approved and things like that. So what happens is every hour we have a certain amount of songs that we play. And there's some songs that play every other hour. There's some songs that play once a day. It just depends on the demand for that song at the time. And like I said, if it's if it's family friendly, it's most likely going to be played in the morning time, really throughout the day. You know,
because there's different sections of the day, like morning drive, afternoon drive, you know, evening, midnight, late night. Like there's sections of the day. Like if your song does not fit the late night crew, it's not getting played in late night.
Right. Like they're probably not gonna be playing TikTok songs late at night. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not gonna be playing. Well, maybe like Beat King or like Throat Baby. You know
it depends on the vibe of the song.
Yeah, it depends on the vibe. And you want to make sure that you're diverse, and but you also want to make sure that you have your demographic that you're trying to target, because you can't be trying to target everybody. You need to kind of have your own lane. So that goes into who you need to talk to, which radio. Every radio station has a thing called a program director. The program director decides who goes on air, and there's also a music director. Sometimes it's the same person. Actually, most of the time, the program director and the music director work hand in hand. So the program director works on everybody that is on air as far as personalities. The music director does exactly what it says. Directs all the music and what gets put in rotation, talks to the DJs and things like that. And most of the time, the easiest way to break your record on air is to get a DJ to play it that has a mix at that station. And then the program director might hear it, or, you know what I'm saying, people might be in the car and they're like, okay, what song is that? And they'll Shazam in the car more than in the club. You know what I'm saying? So that's
they'll hit up the DJ and be like, what song was that? And the DJ is now plugging you to its audience. That is the quickest way to get your music on air that day, is to have a connection with these DJs. And not DJs meaning on air talent that are talking, because I feel like some people call those people DJs. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, at least people in the DMV know, DJ Quicksilver, we got DJ Flex, we got all these people that are DJs, and I feel really bad because I did not name all the DJs that we have, but talk to these people that are on the freaking mixing boards, like in these clubs. Those are the DJs that you need to be talking to.
And talk to them and build a relationship, not just coming up to them, hey, play my song. No. I'm
they
talking
won't.
about sometimes in the club, buying a DJ a drink, you know what I'm saying, and introducing yourself, hey, how you doing? Do not send somebody up there to represent you.
Yeah,
Who are you? No, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. You don't send your manager. They can come with you, but somebody sending them to represent you, nah, bro.
The first conversation should never be about your music. It should be building a relationship with them. And then you should know who they are and what they do and like who they've been breaking, because DJs break artists all the time. That's why they have all them plaques on their wall. Know who they're breaking and what genres they're looking for, because some are DJs are very particular about the music that they will spin. No, like do your research pretty much. Like don't just go up in there and be like, oh, hi, my name is this. Who are you? Because you won't get nothing. Like what?
Yeah,
you have to research.
Every station has a genre. Well, most stations have a certain genre that they play. Like that's what they're going to. Most of them is sometimes it's all hip hop, sometimes it's hip hop and R&B, sometimes it's country, just gospel. We have in Greensboro, there's one called Simon Says, which plays like a little bit of everything. So that's different. I've never heard that until I got to Greensboro. So so that caught me all off guard. But yeah, so know what genre and what station you're going for. Like don't just go for the station that's at your hometown, because sometimes that might not be your base. You know what I'm saying? You might be from North Carolina, but your biggest base is in Houston or something like that because of the sound. Know your sound, because there's an Atlanta sound, there's a Dallas sound, there's a Houston sound. Like it's all about where you're at and what type of music you make. You have to know. You just have to know what you're talking about.
And that goes back to you knowing demographic, like you know your audience, because like he said, some people are based in other places but have a very big following somewhere else. And maybe that's the place that you want to start targeting your music, because those are the people that are already listening to it. So that's why he's saying, like, have a following, have people who are wanting to listen to your music, because that's the only way that you're going to be considered radio ready, is having that backing already and that demand. Because, you know, this goes back into marketing, supply and demand. You are supplying people with the demand of your song. So, you know, we talked about the different branches of radio, marketing and everything. And we kind of talked about networking, but I want to go a little bit deeper into how you've been networking, because clearly you've been networking your butt off. I didn't even know that you were on Fresh Empire, because that's crazy, because back in the day when Diggy Simmons was all over Fresh Empire, I was all up in Fresh Empire, okay?
When he came to Greensboro, that night I wasn't even there at the time, but that night was a night. Like, I heard.
I was so mad.
Was crazy. Like, yeah, but like networking, Fresh Empire was that was a huge growth. Like even the money wasn't even there. It was all about the networking. The people that came through there, the people that I met, lifetime connections. So with networking, always make something look bigger than what it is. You know what I'm saying? Make yourself look bigger than what you are. Your goals bigger than what you think they could be. You know what I'm saying? So networking, you have to always be moving with the times. I have physical business cards, but I also have a social business card where you can just tap somebody's phone. I can just tap your phone, all my social medias pull up in 2 seconds. And I can do that to 200 people rather than talking to somebody, typing in my Instagram, especially with COVID. You know what I'm saying? Just tap your phone. I can do it in passing. I don't have to sit there and actually have a conversation with you to interchange my social media. It has my book website up there, all of that. So you have to move with the times. So of course, for my right here, boom, physical business card for my older folks. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to Central or I'm going to the grocery store, I never know. I might have an A&T hat on, something that represents my brand in some form of fashion that people are going to ask me, what is that? Boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you need to do at all times. You need to have your brand represented in some form of fashion on you, talking about it, wearing it, just doing that. And that's part of networking, for people to ask questions about you so you can go ahead and give them the whole spill. And then one of my key things about networking, let me see, you know what I'm saying? Just do it. Just literally just do it. Just start talking.
Yeah.
When you start talking, everything will fall into place. Some people might say no, but you know what I'm saying? 100 no's and that one yes can take you very far. And being active, like I network at least 12 hours a day working on my craft. I'm talking about even on Instagram, working Twitter, meetings. Like I have at least 3 or 4 meetings a day. I'm talking about like behind the scenes stuff. Like the event for me is only 10%. There's 90% that people do not see behind the scenes as to why my brand is as big as it is. Like, I'm working and I'm flying to Houston, 15 hours away. I'm talking about getting 300 shares, 300 retweets on my events. Never been there before. Nobody knows me there. Nobody.
Right.
But the supply and demand is there. And I'm meeting with people. I'm meeting people where they at. I'm meeting people. I'm giving them what they want. So that's all a part of networking. You can do anything, literally.
Right. And in this industry, it's very much like, it's who you know, unfortunately. It's, your talent is great, but it's about who you know. Like you said, going with your brand, you should be selling your brand everywhere that you're going. Like my merch, it got to the point where my friends were like, damn, do you have any more clothes? Yes, but I'm going to keep wearing this sweatshirt. I'm going to keep wearing these wristbands till the death of me, because the more people talk about it, the better. Word of mouth is so slept on as a very key part of networking. Like when I first had my podcast and everything, I didn't have, these sweatshirts because I was broke, and I'm still broke. So you can do it while being broke. But I have wristbands. I don't have it on right now, and I don't see one near me. And that is just very disheartening. But I bought wristbands, and I think I got like 200 for like $80 or something. Very, very slip. And it just has Lituation Room Podcast and our Instagram. 'Cause at that time, I only had the Instagram. I didn't have everything else. And I started just giving it out to my friends. Went down to A&T and was like, hey, y'all, wear this. I'm going to give y'all a flu. And, you talk to your people, they just wear it. And it got to the point where people were messaging me being like, oh my God, like I heard about your podcast. And I'd be like, how? I don't even know you. But it's word of mouth. People wearing the wristband. Like when people wear my hats now that I have them, I make sure that my brand is prevalent. Even though it may say the movement is lit right here, on the back, it has my entire logo. So in times where it's like, okay, what's the movement? Like, why is it so fucking lit? Because what the fuck? That's the moment where I can be like, oh, well, it's my podcast. And I go into the whole spiel about what it is. And it's like a simple conversation because it's bringing them to ask you about it. So it's not like, I'm just talking about it and annoying people. Like they're bringing their interest into it. And that just, gets people to talk about it. It gets you to naturally talk about it because you don't want to force people. Like I said, networking is very, very key. The job that I have right now was purely off of networking. Like, I mean, I'm talented in what I do. I work my ass off to learn about radio and these boards because it's not easy. If I show you what the radio room looks like, you will be overwhelmed trying to do 10 things at once.
No cap.
It's
7
very
monitors.
hard.
There's so many monitors out there. You don't know what you're looking at. I might be watching TV on one, you know what I'm saying? Like playing music on another, keying in some stuff on the other one, doing production on the other one. It's so many monitors in there. Radio is very, very, very confusing.
Yes, and I'm tired of people telling me it looks easy. Okay, well, can you run the board while also making sure that all these commercials play, while also answering the phones because we have callers, while also, making sure that you're not missing your cue to get right back on air because you are in air in 10 seconds, okay? Like, make sure that all of that's happening.
When that clock ticks down, it's scary. It's not no joke. When we see that 9, 8, it's start getting like, whoa. Start panicking. Especially your first couple of days. Oh my God. Like y'all, oh my, I should have recorded. I should have vlogged my first day in radio. I should have did it.
I'm going to, when I officially get on air somewhere, that is the first thing I'm doing. Cause I was on air at an internet radio station. And I do believe like that was my first time being on air for real. But like, I feel like on a commercial level, I'm definitely going to record it because I need y'all to see the shenanigans that is going to happen because I will look like the whole Mr. Krabs meme because
I cracked that mic for the first time. I started talking and just stopped. I was just silent.
The sad part is you just gotta press next music.
Yeah, I just let it ride. I was just like, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm good. It's all a part of the game, though. You gotta love it.
Networking is so important. And then another thing, like we just said, especially with radio, I can't say about actual industry because you can't really mess up too much when you're in like a label setting. You can't really mess up that much. But in radio, I think we have such a leniency of being able to have that flaw. Like I feel like a lot more people understand that personalities are just people. At least for radio. Because I've seen my mentors get on the mic, start talking, mess up a word and be like, y'all, it's an off day for me. Y'all don't even understand. Look at my words. And then keep going. Like, it's very much an industry where you have to pick your see your mistake that you did and pick it right back up. Like, you can't let it just fall and be like, no, like you gotta bounce back real quick. It's very much a quick based industry.
Recovery.
Not ready for that. Right.
Yeah,
recovery. If you are not ready for that,
you can't beat yourself up. Like, you gotta just, once it's there, it's there. Like, I remember one time I was listening to the radio, and you know how you have the callers and your listeners, and when they win prizes, right? And you have to get their information to keep that in the system. He didn't know that the mic was still hot. Like, he was on the phone with them, but he didn't know that he didn't turn the mic off. So music was just playing. So he gave out her address, her phone number on air. He might have got fired. I ain't even gonna lie. It wasn't my station though. That's tough. Though. That is tough.
There'll be times where because, you know, if you're in radio, you understand as a board operator, because I guess we should talk about, you know, the hierarchies and everything about radio. But as a board operator, you definitely have to, you know, be doing the boards, but you're not allowed to talk. Like, you're not cracking a mic for nothing. Like, that's real cute if you thought that's what you do. But there's times where, like, I have to, you know, there was a time I was cutting a commercial. This wasn't even at the place that I'm at now. Praise God. But I was cutting a commercial. And, like, I was speaking on air because I forgot to, like, unpop my mic. And I was like, oh, y'all just heard that whole commercial. That's crazy, y'all. But back to the music.
It's been times where you'll do a break and the mic not even be on. Like, you going hard, you going in.
And it'd be the best break.
It's not on. It's like, man, like, that's it. Like, but it's all a part of the game. Like, well, when I was in radio, when you was on air, morning show is different. Morning show is different when you have a co-host, something like that. There's usually what you call a straight man, which is kind of like the guy. Most of the time, the straight man is running the board, which is, I'm going to break this down for people that don't know. DJ MB is the straight man, right? Then you have, most of the time, you're a comedian, and then you have your woman personality, your lady. So that's usually the formula to a morning show, usually. But sometimes you have duos. And
if it's not a lady, it's like a person who does, like, entertainment news, very much that person to give you kind of like the news side of everything. So that, you know, that's why the Breakfast Club has been so successful, because they have those three elements to it.
And that's how that goes into. But I'm more so of a straight man. So if I did do a co-host and things like that, which I have like that coming up soon, that I haven't even told anybody yet. So yeah, so
exclusive.
I ran the board for my personal show, but then of course the straight man usually runs the board, and that's like basically putting all the commercials in. That's doing all the promos, which is basically like weekly liners and things like that. Like, if you have an event coming up, or if we're doing a giveaway, like say one time we did a Jamaica giveaway, and we're saying like at the top of every hour, it might tell you like, hey, call in the 102 Jams at 5:27 to win a trip to Jamaica or something like that. And that comes in, you have to put all that in, plug all that in. It's a whole lot of monitors. And that's basically what the straight man does on most of the time. That's most of the time what he does on the morning show. And then, of course, the comedian is just like, callers come in, do prank calls, stuff like that. That's what he does. And then, of course, you have your news, which is most of the time a lady, but sometimes it's not. Most of the time it is, though.
Right. And I feel like another key thing that if you want to get in radio specifically, I feel like in the music industry as a whole, you need to know everything. Like, you very much need to know everything. Like, there's no reason why as a radio personality, you should not be able to do every single part of radio. Like, you should be able to work the board because you're doing that every day.
Yeah.
You should be able to cut a commercial because you're going to have to do that.
Have to.
I feel like the only section of radio, like he said, sales, production, on air, and everything like that. Like, I feel like the only one that you don't really have to know too well is sales. And that's only because sales is very complicated. Like, I don't care what anybody says. My sales team, shout out to them, because what they're doing.
I have never touched sales. But I know one thing, though. Them commercials go back to sales.
Yep.
And you do not, I don't care who
Don't mess it up.
Don't mess with the commercials. Don't mess. That's the easiest way. The easiest way.
Don't mess with their money, y'all.
I'm talking about, if you're in promotions, you better make sure them commercials is in for your own personalities. And own personalities, you better make sure the commercials are in order, because that is the heart and soul of everything. Sales.
If it says 30 seconds, make sure that commercial is 30 seconds, not 1 second under, not 1 second over.
Under.
We don't play. If it's stay 30 second, cut it at 30 seconds.
Sales is the one place you cannot mess up. Most of the time, sales are radio veterans. Most of the time, that's how sales is. Unless if you get a job, you go straight to sales. I'm praying for you because
I have so much respect for you.
Yeah,
not saying
so
that I
much.
don't have respect for my other branches of radio, but sales has my number one respect.
It's a different type of beast out there. So it's just like radio, you have to kind of know your role, play a role, but at the same time, when you can't just call out a radio. It's not a situation where anybody can just fill it and do your job. Like that's your personality, that's your voice. So you have to be able to know everything, and you can't be late. Like I always had to be at least an hour early because you know what I'm saying. Like cracking the mic, no, it doesn't wait for anybody. You know what I'm saying. So it's not like you can just play it back. Well, most stations you can't just play it back. I mean, some stations you can do pre-recorded shows, but we didn't do it. We did everything live. So nowadays, you know, they're doing syndicated shows, things like that. So.
Right.
But most of y'all know what syndicated means. Basically, like if the Ricky Smiley didn't win a show, he's not recorded in. He plays on KNS 7.5, but he's not in Raleigh, North Carolina. He just has his show played multiple areas at the same time. So that's how that goes.
But no, it's very much an industry where you need to know how to do everything because you just never know where you're gonna be. Like I feel like the reason why us two and like people that we know are doing so well is because we're not just sticking to one thing. Like we're able to be placed in multiple places. Like if I was needed to produce a show instead of talking, I'm able to do that. Or if someone needs me to, like I keep saying, cut a commercial, I'm able to do audio production and figure that out. Like, and if you don't know, like we said, lie, figure it out, work it out.
Figure it out until somebody tell you you're wrong.
Exactly.
And then say my fault. Do it again.
Oops. Can you? I'm sorry. I'll do better next time. But okay. A lot of times people are asking me, so how did you get into radio? Like, how do you do it? Like, I keep applying and they never call me back. Well, friend, I'm gonna tell you how I got into radio.
Yeah.
It's this lovely section that we keep talking about. It's called promotions. Promotions is all the things that you be seeing in the streets. When you see them tents, you see that vehicle with the logo on the side of it and a little real tacky and shit. That's promotions. That's what we be doing. All the times when we gotta wake up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, get y'all some coffee, and y'all be coming over to us being like, oh my God, 102 jams, oh my God, 93.9. Like, hey y'all. Yeah, that's promotions. My opinion. Best way to get into radio, at least into that station, is that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the place that you can learn the most because you're not by yourself. Most of the other places in radio, you're kind of by yourself dolo. Promotions is a team effort. Most of the time, depending on how big or small your radio station is or how big or small that market is and the demand for your events. Like when I worked at the radio station, we had events pretty much every day, sometimes 2 events a day, but 5 out of the 7 days we had an event. So, and then on Saturdays we had multiple. So promotions is just learning. You can learn every area while you do promotions. When you're in other areas of radio, you kind of have to focus on just that. And promotions is a lot more lenient. So
yeah, it's very much when I was doing promotions, it was a great place. Like my last job before I came back to DC was in Virginia Beach. Shout out to all my friends in Virginia Beach at that station. I loved working there. Oh my God, y'all are great. But I feel like that's the perfect place to get to because you're seeing every avenue. I think you're seeing every avenue because with promotions, the reason why you're having those events is because sales has worked their butts off to get that event into whatever they need to do. They did it. So a lot of times you're working with that sales rep. She'll bring her happy little butt to the event. So you better be on point.
Oh yeah.
But it's because, so you're able to see sales in a very, very minute way because you're not seeing everything that they do, but you're in connection with them. So you can make a relationship with them. Not only do you have that, but your immediate boss is the promotions director. So you can get in with them, figure out how they do their job, blah, blah, blah. Then, most of the time there's a personality that is attached to that event. You can network, see how they work the area, work the room, work the people, because the whole point of promotions is to cater to the audience, cater to the people. We're giving away things. We're making sure that our music's being played and, hyping the people up. That's what we're doing, is connecting with the people. So you're able to see the personality in person, connect with these people that they typically don't see, because I feel like a lot of people don't know this, but when you're in the radio room, most of the time you're in there by yourself and you're just talking.
Yeah.
To yourself.
Yeah. It's not no like I mean, I used to have visitors. I ain't gonna lie. I used to have a whole I used to have like 600 people in there every day. Like I used to just have. I had a photographer. I had a photographer, videographer. I had people out there looking at the news for me, just telling. We was having conversations. So when I was doing stuff, it was more natural. But most of the time, you by yourself. Like the wee hours in the morning, won't nobody up there with me at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. They won't hit. Yeah, definitely not 6 o'clock.
But I would say promotions is probably your best bet to get in. Once you're in that door, though, hit the ground running. Like, don't stop. Exactly. Because if you really want to be in this industry and in this business, they're not going to hand you nothing. Like, this is not let me walk you through the door and let me keep pulling you while no, this is very much an independent thing. Like, if you want anything to work for you, you're going to have to make it work for you. So if you want to get on air per se, don't just get stuck in one lane, is what I'm trying to say. Because if you get stuck there, I'm sorry for you, friend.
Most of the time, I think radio changes around like every three years. They kind of shift the direction of the station that they're going in. Most stations, they just, just keep everything lively. As far as they might add new personalities, they might add a new morning show, they might have a new afternoon drive at 5. Personality to go into that. So that's kind of how things go. In my radio personality career, that's what I was gonna go towards. Like every 3 years, just switch it up. Maybe go to a new. Well, I ain't gonna say go to a new station, but just try to do something differently than I was doing before. So,
all right. So enough about radio, because I could talk about radio all day, but we're talking about something else too before we end this. So if y'all didn't hear at the beginning of this, which y'all should have, because what are y'all doing? He is also a Warner Music college representative. Okay. So I want you to tell people what you do for Warner, because I know what you do for Warner, and I wish that I was smart enough to take that and run with it in college. So definitely tell people what that is for any of the college students listening out now.
So Warner Music Group, I am a college marketing rep, right? So people know I do entertainment, but marketing is something that I also do for my personal brand that I'm really good at. So I decided to go down that lane and see what it's like, because music is the home. So all entertainment, I don't care what lane of entertainment you want to be in, it comes back to music. So what I do as a marketing rep in college, I'm the only, for one, African-American male in the program right now. I'm the only African-American male and one of 3 HBCU students right now in the entire program for Warner Music Group. You know what I'm saying? Let that sink in right now. The only African-American HBCU male in the entire company right now. So that's just how that rolls. That. That's
actually really sad. Warner, come on.
That's why they brought me in though. So we get in there so we can get our HBCUs incorporated into what we do. Warner is one of the big 3. The other 2 is Universal and what's the other one? Sony, yes. Sony, Universal, and Warner is the big 3 when it comes to music, the music industry. And then under that, of course, is your sub-labels like Interscope, and then under Interscope is South Coast Music Group. Under South Coast is $1 Billion Baby. Under $1 Billion Baby is the artist. So there's like 5 or 6 people that goes into being your favorite artist that improves their stuff. Yeah. That's stuff that you have to talk about when you get signed. We'll go into that later on. So what I do for Warner, I market upcoming artists that are on the verge of breaking before they have they might have maybe one big single or on the verge of dropping their big single that's going to break them into being mainstream. So that's what I do, is I introduce them to the college, and I bring what we're listening to in college and what we like to hear in college to the label. So we kind of do an interchanging thing right there. I do interviews for them, for the upcoming artists and things like that. And sometimes I do events with maybe like some of their labels that are under them, such as like Atlantic. Who else is under Warner? Warner Records. It's a lot of sub-departments, but that's what I do, the college part of Warner Music.
Yeah, love Warner. They got a lot of my favorite artists. And when I was doing YouTube, because very much not doing it right now, because but I got introduced to Warner as a college rep doing a lot of music reviews on YouTube because apparently those are very popping, and I might have to get back on that wave. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
they go up.
I was making some good views for them. But I did a Kehlani Sweet Sexy Savage album review. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, this college rep done hit me up talking about, you want to do a giveaway for your audience on YouTube? And I said, a giveaway? Little old me. Okay, let me do it. And then that's how I got in contact with Warner, because I was able to like bounce back and forth of what my audience liked, what certain things that they were going to give me that I was going to promote for the giveaway and stuff like that, and what I needed to say and stuff like that. So, and I was also introduced because my friend Naya, she was a Universal Music college rep. So there was a lot of events that she would take me to kind of like help her navigate everything, where she would pretty much go to the artists' events. Like she went to a Boss concert, and that's where I met Boss. Shout out to him.
And he's eating right now. Like,
Boss is going crazy. Yeah. And she went to Queen Naja before she became like super poppin', and kind of just wrote reports on who, like what the demographic was there at the concert, how people were receiving the song and receiving the artist's music, how the stage presence was, kind of just reviewing it from a college audience point of view. They're mostly in college towns, so if you live in college towns, definitely check out these big labels because they are looking for people. Those are probably the best ways to get into label work. And they're always hiring. Like that is the one thing that you will constantly see on their page.
A million employees. Like when I talk about, I didn't realize how many people was on the label. I'm talking about million. Like I'm talking about everybody and their mama, but it's so many people that you will not meet. You don't know by name, by face. Coming from a part where like the radio station, like we knew everybody, to Warner where it's like, you know who's on your team and your sector. It's actually, they reached out to me too. That's another thing too. So they're watching. Like I got a DM one day, and at first I was like, what? And then I looked at it and I read it, and I was like, okay. So I got an email. I'm like, okay. Then I had like 3-4 interviews, and I'm like, whoa, okay. So this is something big. So it was a paid position. So I was like, okay. But had I not answered that DM, I would not have had this job. So shout out to Warner, because Warner is giving me a platform, and I got some big stuff coming with Warner. I'm talking about like HBCU students. If y'all tapping with me, I'm letting y'all know right now we can do some amazing stuff, but y'all gotta believe in the process. Gotta believe in the process.
I'm ready. I'm excited. Okay, so besides college reps, there's obviously other parts of the industry and label work that artists really need to like research and hone into. So if you want to talk about that a little bit before we wrap it up.
Got you. A&R department, of course, is what most of y'all probably are familiar with that you need to know. But before you come to an A&R, you have to have, of course, your own press kit. You know what I'm saying? Get a one sheet made. What a one sheet is, it basically tells you all your analytics, basically telling you about yourself, a bio, your numbers, all that. It's basically just a real quick bio, but it's in a more so of a visual presentation than just like an email.
It's like a resume, but with graphics.
Yeah, that's exactly a resume with graphics. That's exactly what it is. So that's what I suggest, that everybody gets a one sheet. If you're an artist that you're trying to get your music played, you're trying to get signed. The A&R department, you have where you distribute your music and how you get it distributed is a big part of being in the industry. Knowing your numbers, owning your masters. That's all things that you need to know before you sign a contract. You need to know everything, because the percentage of what you get when you sign, just make sure that number makes sense. Because when you get signed, I don't even know I'm supposed to say it, but it's whatever. The money that you get is a loan. When I say a loan, not literally a loan like you take off like from the bank. It's a thing where you have to make that money back to where if the label signs you for 6 albums and they sign you for a $2 million deal, you have to make back that $2 million in sales or whatever shows before you touch your own money that you can keep. So it's all a risk. So signing big deals, I wouldn't suggest it out the gate. That's just me personally. But that's things that you need to learn. You need to do more research on. I'm not going to really say too much about that. But to each his own. You know what I'm saying? So there are some artists out here with some stupid deals. I ain't gonna lie, some dumb.
I mean, we're seeing that right now with like people like Hit Boy, who is finally coming out saying that his contract was a sham. Like, it's very much like now you kind of need to have a backing in music business, and don't say that there's don't say an excuse like, oh well, I didn't go to school for that, or there's no resources. Yes, there are plenty of resources out here to learn about contracts.
And don't just trust your manager or the label lawyer, because they work for the label. So
right.
Make sure, because everybody on the team ain't on your team. You know what I'm saying? Like, they work for you, but they also work for them. So you know what I'm saying? Like, all that goes into each other. I've seen countless stories. Right now, it's really hot. Like, right now, it's so many artists out here that's coming out with all these stories about they thought it was this, then when they signed it was this. It's artists I've been interviewing that I've been like, dang, like, I'm gonna have to talk to you about that off air, because they be going into too much detail about what they got going on in their contracts. But people, they're not being quiet right now. Like, social media is prevalent. It's always been like this. It was worse in the 90s. Like, when you also about Death Row, it's been way worse. And like, people getting killed on music deals, but now social media is a platform where you can talk about it. But before, it was way, way, way worse than it is today. So it was more than money. It was your life on the line. So literally.
Definitely research before you put your name on the dotted line. That's why I'm always glad that my mom told me that, just in a grand scheme of things. But in this business, you definitely need to know what you're signing your name to, what you're signing your life to. Because we were talking about this off camera, but when you are a new artist, you are pretty much signing your life away, because it's very much so this is what we have today, but I didn't approve all these. Well, this is what you have to do. You have something at 9 this morning, you have something at 10. You need to be dressed very cute for this one at 12. You also have another interview at 6, 6:37, 7:30, 7:45, 8, and then you'll be done for the day. But don't forget to eat, because you also need to like do that. Also, you have rehearsal at 9. Like, it's very much like they're telling you how your day is gonna run.
Your schedule, though, like, you know what I'm saying. So that's why I feel like your contract, you need to negotiate some of the things. What is important to you, creative freedom or money? Because you're gonna debate between the two. It's gonna be very, very, very rare that you get both. Very rare, and you don't
especially
get that
at the gate.
Yeah, like today and right now, you have to fight for that. You have to show that you're worth that, because they will leave you to sign with somebody else if they feel like you're not gonna be in there. It's always, of course, I'm not gonna say for their game. They have the best interest for the artist, but at the same time, it's a two-edged street.
It's a business.
Like, if they're putting, and this is another thing too. People are like, oh, I'm gonna go independent. Do you have the money to fund what you want to do? Do you know how much money goes into making artists? The image, the travel, the shows,
the promotion.
This stuff costs money. If you don't have $100,000, and that's not even a lot of money in this industry. I'm talking about $1 million put to the side to put into your craft. You're not ready. You're not ready to be super mainstream. When I'm talking about super mainstream, I'm talking about headline artist type thing. It's a lot of money that goes into that, and that's just to get started. I'm not talking about to continue the lifestyle that you're living, because everything is presentation right now. That's why all that goes back into your contract. All that goes back into a loan, which is not really a loan. It's just that you have to get that money made back. But yeah, it's so much that goes into being an artist. Really, just researching your craft. It's so much stuff out here right now on YouTube. Of course, also look for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Read for yourself. But there's also videos up here of people talking about it. Just make sure you listen to a credible source. That's it.
If you want to be an artist, like he said, you need to be up on your craft. Like, this is like school. Like, honestly, you're never not learning, because even though I'm inside of my industry, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm still always learning new stuff about the industry, how it works, so that even though I'm just an on-air personality, I'm still able to talk about, okay, so I know the ins and outs of what you're doing. Let me help you get, your name to this audience that I have. So it's very much like, if you want to be an artist in this business, people are not going to hold your hand to teach you it. They're not. You need to come in there already knowing your analytics, knowing how you want promotion, how your image is going to look, because most of the time, if you do not come knowing what you want as an artist, they're going to tell you. They're going to do it. That's the whole point.
Especially if you have potential and you don't know your potential, that's the number one problem, not knowing your potential. That is the number one issue. Most of the time, artists are bigger than what they think, but because they see themselves come from the bottom, they don't look at the big picture, what's going to happen 10, 20 years from now, because it's artists that have debut albums that are like hits, and then they fall off. And there's also artists that kind of bloom a little later in their career. Like Chris Brown, Trey Songz, their debut albums are heavy hitters. Of course, right now they had longevity, but there's also artists that had that one album and then just kind of fell off. I ain't gonna really go into names about who I feel like.
We won't do that because they might have to come on. They might have to come on the podcast. We ain't gonna do that. But people like, for instance, LMA, where she put out, what was it, Boot Up, like 2-3 years before it blew up, and now she's finally having that mainstream success. So it's very much like, do what you got to do now, because you just never know where you're gonna be in like 2-3 years as an artist. So learn everything that you can while you don't have that backing. But you know, the main thing that you should be doing is getting a fan base that fucks with you heavy.
Yeah, no
because
cap.
Whatever you do, they need to be blasting it everywhere, all on their socials, hyping you up, because the more that they're doing that, the more that personalities are seeing it, the more that labels are seeing it. Because like you said, labels are watching. We are hunting. Well, I'm not a part of a label yet, but we're hunting for people. And it's very much like, okay, so who's going to find the next big thing before somebody else finds it?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're looking for you. They want you a part of the team. It's not a situation where, oh, I might not be good enough. They're looking for you. Like, if you have the talent, you're gonna get discovered, especially with social media era, especially with that. Like, it's every day that we're looking at somebody. Like, I submit every week new artists that I see. I do that every single week, and I be looking. You know what I'm saying? So I do things sometimes randomly on Twitter. I'll be like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody drop your projects. Let me listen to it. You know what I'm saying? It's all about your approach before I even listen to your music, depending on if I'm going to listen to your music, the way you come at me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So all that is a part of everything, your presentation, just being on your P's and Q's, knowing what you're talking about, because if you don't know what you're talking about, they can be able to tell. They're going to pick your brain. And that's what it's really going to get difficult. That's what it's really going to get difficult. So,
because even for me, I'm not a label, and I still reach out to artists, but I won't reach out to you unless I can tell that you have your ish together. Like, if I can tell that you're marketing properly, like your music is obviously good, like that's first and foremost. But
it's artists that are trash, they have crazy numbers.
I'm not even going to say the artist names because that's going to get me caught up.
Their numbers be crazy, and they
hitting platinum records.
Lil Nas X, man, I'm not saying he's trash at all. Lil Nas X is a great artist. He's a great artist, but he has a diamond record off of a Twitter meme. Old Town Road was a joke at first. It was a joke. Then the whole thing with him getting kicked off the country billboards. Then he had Billy and Cyrus. But he has a diamond record.
I mean, Doja Cat's little Moo shit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Moo shit because I didn't like it. And I'm going to be honest. But it was a joke. Like, she literally was like, yeah, like, I made it as a joke. I just put the video up as a joke. And look where she is now. Because her last performance for Billboard, that was it.
Lil Nas X last year, he really blew my mind. I'm super proud of him.
It was Lil Nas X year last year.
He went crazy. And he only dropped like an EP and the single.
And 10 different remixes of the same song.
But the thing is, though, he had different demographics. He touched into K-pop. He touched into country. He touched, he did it. He touched into hip-hop. Like, Lil Nas X knew exactly what he was doing last year. He knew exactly what he was doing last year. And he killed it. But yeah, that's my rant on that.
Yeah, we're not gonna do no more about that, because then we gonna get caught up, and then we gonna start telling people stuff, and they gonna come back and be like, "Well, CDK told me to do this." CDK ain't tell you nothing.
Nah. Viewers' discretion. You know what I'm saying? Take my word with a grain of salt. But that's just my 2 cents on my personal experience.
Exactly. Rude. Not gonna cut that out. That was rude. That car. But okay, let's wrap this up. Any last things that people should be on the lookout for? Obviously, say your socials, where they can find you. But what's next for CDK? Where am I gonna see you next? Obviously, don't tell everything because you may be in contracts, but just a little bit.
So I have another show coming out, like starting to debut in the show. I'm gonna have a co-host, and this is gonna be a heavy hitter. There's going to be a heavy hitter. This is a show people actually have been asking me about for a while, and me and him had finally had a conversation. I said him. All right, so me and him finally had a conversation, and it's coming very soon. So be on the lookout for that. let's see. Vote. See, right now I'm in the race to be the radio personality of the year. So you know what I'm saying? Go on my page. Mm-hmm. Vote for me on that. CDK on the mic. That's a C, a D, and a K. On the mic, on Twitter, Instagram, all that. Follow me. Hit me the DM. Book me for all your upcoming events. You know what I'm saying? HBCU students, PWI students, everyday students. You know what I'm saying? Radio personality. Anybody out there that has an opening right now, let me know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just out here right now just trying to figure out my next stage in life. But I feel like right now we're going with the music industry. So that's pretty much it for me.
Yay. Wait, so when does the voting end?
Voting ends in March, which is crazy, but
wow,
a long time. So that's why
that is a very long window for voting, but okay.
Yeah, and I'm just got that email. I got me a nice little email. So that's another thing that's coming up. I can't even say nothing about that yet. So, hey.
Oh, yes. So, okay. Well, I'm very excited. Definitely keep a lookout on everything that he's doing. Let me plug our socials real quick. You feel me?
Let's go.
So if you want to follow us and keep up to date with the Lituation, because you know the movement is lit. We are on Instagram, the Lituation R Pod, Twitter, the Lituation RMP, because Twitter didn't want to give me my actual @ name because they rude. If you want to go to our website, because our website is popping. It's www.thelituationroompodcast.co. You can find all our episodes there, all our previous guests, exclusive content if you sign up for the email list. Ooh.
Okay, email list.
And much, much more that's coming out. Hopefully COVID will just go away so that I can really give y'all the bangers that I'm trying to give y'all. But just stay up to date because we're never not giving y'all content. And if you want to follow me, because, you know, I'm pretty late too, it's at Leisha B Live on all social platforms. That's just how it is. It's very simple, very cute. But yeah, definitely listen to the rest of the episodes that you haven't listened to already. This season, clearly you see that this season is already popping, but there's so much more coming. I have so many people that y'all need to be in tune with. I have, for my artists, some A&Rs coming on.
Hey.
I'm not going to say who, but just stay tuned because you may be the next person they find. I don't know. I'm just trying to help y'all.
That's
just trying to help y'all succeed. But yeah, stay tuned for the next episode, and I will see y'all next time.